lovely learners. I hope you had a wonderful time last week learning about what construction is. I promised you this week that we are going to be constructing. And what are we constructing? We're going to construct a little town. Yes, you heard me right. We are going to be constructing a little town, all with paper. So do we have our papers ready? Remember last week I told you the things that you're going to be needing for today's class, but I refuse to tell you what we are creating. So now that we know, get your materials ready and let's go. Like I told you last week, we are going to use different materials, and first of which is straw board. It's just like a carton, very strong. Scissors, a ruler, top bond, different embossed papers. The first step is to lay your background on your paper, and for the background we're going to use green embossed paper cut to the size of the straw board. Remember I said I want you to use the full straw board, so whatever paper you're going to be using for your background, make sure that it is the same size with your straw board. So here I have cut mine to size. Next step is to join it to the straw board. I'm going to do that now using a generous scoop of glue. And place your paper on it. Press down gently so as not to get any wrinkles, and making sure that every part is stuck down. So here we go, background all set. Next step, measure out the house with your ruler. We are going to be creating a cuboid to make a house, so all you need to do is measure out in equal centimeters the width of the house. For this we are going to use 7.5 centimeters. So here we go. So we're going to need this little part left because we're going to use it. The next step is to fold. How do you fold? Simply do this. Look for the place you have marked and fold it down, making sure that it is on a straight line. It shouldn't be bent like this. Make sure your paper is overlapping each other on a straight line. So do this, simply press on these edges while at the same time holding down on this part very tight. So here I have done that. Repeat the same thing on all marks. So there we have all 4 sides. Now we need our extra parts. So fold it down, make sure it's overlapping here. So here we go. Now we can make our cuboid by simply sticking this part on top or under this edge. So here we go. The next step is to cover these 2 edges. To cover the edges, trace this edge on a piece of blue paper. You can trace on the edges on your paper lightly. You can repeat that on another part. Next step is to trace it out with your ruler. Trace it out clearly. Make sure the lines are straight. So here we have 2 different shapes. We are only going to cut on the outer one. So cut it out. Here are the 2 sides. Next step is folding. So we are going to fold on these straight lines. Turn like we did the first time, making sure it's overlapping. Press down and open. Turn the other way, press down and open. turn the other way, press down, open. Do the same thing on all 4 sides on the 2 papers. When you're done, simply cut a little bit until you get to the line that you have drawn on this edge. Do the same thing on all 4 sides. So there you have it. You can now fold. So how do you fold? Simply tuck this part in and apply a little bit of glue. Hold it until it is dry. Do the same thing on all 4 sides. When you're done, simply tuck it in. So here goes this part. So here it is. The next step is to add some glue and hold it down. From the inside, press it upwards from the inside, and at the same time pressing it downwards on the outside. When you're done, when you're satisfied with one part, turn to the other and do the same thing until you get a neat work. You're also going to repeat that process on the other side. Now it's time to make the roof. Simply measure out the length of your paper to how high you want the roof to be. This I'm going to be taking just 17 centimeters. And fold into 2 equal halves. Next step is to open it up and place here to make the roof of the house. Next step is to place it at the top to make the roof of the house. How do you do that? Simply fold any piece of paper, cut it out. You can do 4 of this. Fold again, cut, fold, and cut. So here we have 4. We are going to add it to the top now. So the next step, wait for them to dry and add glue on the 4 sides. You have to be fast with this step so as not to dry up your glue by the time you finish. We need it when it is wet. So the next step is to place your folded paper on it, making sure it is stuck on the inside to those papers. Simply press. If you're not too sure, you can hold it on the edge like this until it is dry. Do the same thing on the other side and all 4 sides. At this stage, you can add doors and windows to these cuboids to make it look like a real building. I'm going to be using squares and rectangles. All you do, so the house is set. The next step, simply go to the bottom and apply a generous amount of glue. When you're done with that, turn and stick it to your paper. Do that gently so as not to spoil your work. So here I have a house on my little town. You can add more houses to yours in any pattern that you like to make your little town. Make as many houses as you like. If you want, you can add roads, you can add trees if you want to, okay? And arrange them in a beautiful pattern on your Strawboard. So you see that I just made a mini one, right? You can expand your own. Let it include more houses. I just did this just to show you a step-by-step process. So I want you to use a full cardboard. Yes, a full strawboard, sorry. A full strawboard paper to create your own work, okay? So I want to see a little town. Let's get constructing.